Hey, what's going on, guys? So I just kind of wanted to come on here. I know it's really random, but I kind of been meaning to do a video on these Black Series action figures that I picked up here recently, and I just haven't sat down and done a video on them. I mean, I'm gonna sit here and we're gonna pose them a little bit, and if you guys show up, we'll chat a little bit all at the same time. And I just really kind of want to know y'all's opinion on what do you think about the Black Series? What do you think about action figures in general? Is that something that you would collect or something that you wouldn't collect? You will just simply have to throw me a comment somewhere and let me know if that's something that you're into, if it's something that you're not into. I'm going to move Jawa here for a second, and I'm just going to kind of talk about the Stormtrooper. So this is a Captain Stormtrooper. This is not just the standard Stormtrooper. These guys have a lot of articulation when it comes to their joints and the way you can move them and just all kind of crazy stuff. So the articulation in these guys is kind of crazy. And I mean, you can move their legs in these crazy ways. I mean, so posing these guys is what kind of makes me want to get into them. But I want to know how y'all feel about them. Is this something that you want to see me do videos about? Is it not? I mean, as a community, I'm just kind of curious on what you think. And I'm going to show you the boxes real quick. These boxes are super cool. On the back of them, they give you this little like crazy backstory on the character. And they're not normally like a really long backstory. It's normally just a paragraph. I mean, I know that looks long, but it's really not. I think it's written in 2 or 3 different languages. Yeah, maybe even 4. So it's normally a very short backstory about this character and what's good, just who he is in general. Hey, what's going on, guys? I see that a couple of y'all have shown up. And then we have the Jawa. Now I have 2 out of the 3 of these guys out of the boxes right now. The only one that I don't have out of the box is going to be Luke Skywalker. I haven't pulled Luke out of the box yet, but I'm thinking that while I'm on this live, I'll probably get this guy pulled out of the box and we'll take a look at him. And I'm just going to kind of sit here and pose this guy a little bit. And I have the new Deadpool comic book over here that I just recently picked up, and I tried to read, and I'm going to be totally honest with you. It was very, very difficult to follow. Hey, what's going on, bud? How are you doing today? I see you over there. I got somebody over here watching today. How are you doing? So the Stormtrooper is probably one of the most iconic figures from Star Wars. And I think that they do the Stormtrooper in more variances than any other Star Wars character that I've ever seen. I mean, there is just a ridiculous amount of variances to this guy. And like I was saying just a second ago, getting these guys posed is really well. Now, they took a lot of time and effort into actually making him. And I don't know if this camera is going to pick it up as good as the one in my studio does, but they've made him look dirty and tarnished and worn out and just all kinds of craziness. Now, the one thing I can say that I wish they would have done, I wish they would have gave you separate hands with these guys so that you could actually grab things in a better way, because their hands just don't grab that well. But they do have just a lot of articulation. And look, I'll pose him a few different ways and you can actually see this. And if you go to my Instagram, you'll see that I had these guys posed in a few different ways on my Instagram. I mean, I like posing these things. It's a lot of fun when you start posing them. And when you're posing them for fun, it's a really cool idea. And if that's something you're into, you should really try and grab some action figures and just see like posing them. And they say that there's a whole art to posing these. So I'm going to be honest, when I'm looking at like poses and what I'm doing, I kind of go online and look at how other people have posed these and what they're doing. So one of my favorite poses for this guy so far is kind of what I have going on here. He has like this whole like pointing at you scenario while his gun is dropped to the side. I really like that pose on this guy, but because of their Black Series and they're not a sideshow and they're not a hot toy, posing these things can be kind of difficult, getting them into a lot of different poses. Now, he has a few poses that you can get him into very well. He does have a lot of articulation though, and that's what makes me like these guys just off the jump. That's what makes me like these guys. Hey guys, how are y'all doing today? So I'm just gonna sit here and play around with it and see how I can get them to pose. I mean, I don't, this is just a very random, I thought maybe some of you guys would want to hang out, just a very random improv live. I didn't, like I said, this is a video that I was kind of playing around with doing, and I was going to do it and then edit it and all of that good stuff. But I thought I would just come on here and y'all could throw a comment and tell me what you think. I mean, what do you think about the Black Series stuff? Is it something that you're into? Is it something that you're not into? Getting these guys posed, though, like I was saying just a second ago, because they're not a hot toy and they're not something like that, it can be rather difficult. I mean, they just don't seem to want to move that well. And when you do get a move, they don't necessarily want to stay in the position that you have them in. So let's see what I can do to him. So like I said, there's about 2 or 3 poses I have on Instagram with this guy already. And I'm going to be honest, I think those were the 2 or 3 poses that I could honestly get him into without a whole lot of effort, because like I said, they don't pose that well. They don't want to really stand up that well. So you really have to fight with the feet and the hips and all to get a good stance on him. So I want to say that's the 2 out of the 3 poses. And I'm trying to remember what the third pose is right offhand. And I just can't quite remember what the third pose was to this guy. So I'm going to sit here and play around with him and see if I can get it. I want to say that it was more of a shooting pose. I almost want to like look it up real quick and see. But here I'm going to set him still real quick, and then I'm going to pick up Jawa. And I'm going to tell you my thoughts on this Jawa. This jaw was all but unposable, and they didn't really do a whole lot with his hands that would have helped you in the holding of things. Dylan, how are you doing, bud? It's good to see you today. They didn't do a whole, hey, Candyman, hey, what's up, bud? So they didn't do a whole lot with this Jawa to help you in the posing of him in general. They did put a cloth over him, which makes him look more authentic than if they would have just left him as plastic. Hey guys, it's very random live today. Look, if you want to chat and talk and hang out, that's cool. Throw me some questions over there. We're sitting here talking about the Black Series stuff. I don't know if y'all have any of the Black Series stuff. I've been meaning to do a video on these things. There was a time that I kind of collected a lot of action figures. That time has kind of gone, and I started collecting a lot of Funkos, but I'm kind of moving back into the action figures. And I'm just wanting to know if that's something that y'all want to see more of, if y'all are into the action figures, if y'all like that kind of stuff. Just questions. If you got any questions you want to ask me real quick while we're sitting here. So like I was saying, now the Jawa himself is very difficult to pose. And so that's why when you see him on Instagram, I only have one pose with him. It's hard to get him standing. It's hard to get him to pose. The hands themselves are just not built that well. So, and I'll see if I can get a little bit better picture for you on that. So I can't really like move the gun into position that I would like to see it in. I would like to see him kind of holding it more like he's aiming it at you versus he's kind of holding it out in front of him. So the Jawa was kind of difficult, and I'll continue to play with the Jawa and see if I can't get him to pose a little bit better here in the future. But right now, that's just as good. And his hand doesn't want to hold it that well. I mean, you can see that it fell out, and I wasn't really doing a whole lot to make it fall out. So he just hasn't held it that well. So if you'll see on Instagram when I posted him, hey, I'm enjoying your Energizer Bunny Funko Pop. Hey, that's a really cool pop too, by the way. That's a really, really cool pop. So the Jawa doesn't stand that well, and I'm going to get Luke out of here, and we're going to take a look at him. Now, I did get a lot of poses out of the Stormtrooper, but like I said, they take a lot of work to really like get him posed up and to get him looking right. I mean, he just takes a lot of work, and there's only a couple of poses that I found that I could honestly get him in that he would continue to stand. And the Jawa doesn't want to stand now, and that's kind of what I'm saying. I don't know how I feel about the Black Series stuff, and maybe the Black Series stuff is meant to be kept in the boxes and not necessarily taken out of the boxes, which, you know, to me wouldn't be that far-fetched to believe that they would make one that was more meant to be in the box than out of the box. And I'm gonna see if I can get him back into that pose I just had him in, though, where he's just kind of pointing at you. And then I'm gonna get Luke out of the box, and we'll see if I can get him posed up in some ways too. And see, some of this seems to be the problem when you try and move certain parts, other parts move, and then. So it's just kind of been this while, but I like that pose. I like that pose where it looks like he's pointing at you, and then he has the gun kind of sitting to the side. But as you can see even there, I mean, he just does not want to stay standing up. Maybe they should put a stand with these guys. I mean, maybe that's something that they could do that would fix their standing problem. But Luke here, I have not gotten out of the box, and I haven't gotten Luke out of the box because he looks like he's an action figure. They kind of hid that on the Stormtrooper, where you don't really get the feeling that they're an action figure because the Stormtrooper is already going to have like these in between his joints because of the armor and the outfit that he's wearing. So I don't really know how I like that the Luke really looks like he's a full-blown action figure. I mean, you can see that he's an action figure right off the stop. I had to get something to cut this tape. Enjoying the Funko Energizer Bunny. So, Dylan, what other pops have you gotten lately that you're enjoying? I've gotten a few of them here lately that I think are really hot. I just recently picked up the Walmart exclusive Beetlejuice. That video should be coming out Tuesday of next week. That is a really, really awesome pop. Just a heads up on that. If you haven't seen it, go online real quick and check out that pop. That's a really awesome pop. There's lots of awesome pops coming out right now, but this is, just to be honest, and let's just be truthful with everybody, whenever there's a con coming up, there's always really, really awesome pops leading into the con. And then there's really awesome pops coming out of the con. And I believe that those are done for a few different reasons. I believe that they're done so that you continue to buy pops coming up into the con, and that so that after the con, you still continue to buy pops, even though you probably just spent over $100 on them. They kind of like pull you right back in with the pig patch too. What is I don't know what that is. I will have to look that one up real quick. I believe that they do that though to draw you right back in to the pops. But hey, look, I don't know that to be certain. That's just what I am thinking. Now, getting these guys out of their little plastic casings is really difficult. And I don't know if that's because they're putting these guys in these plastic casings while they're still hot, but that's going to be my assumption, is that when they stick these guys in those plastic casings, that the plastic casing themselves is probably a little warm. It's so that when it cools down, it kind of like pulls back onto the guy. Now, like I said, look, I don't really know that, but that's just my thoughts as to what's going on, because every one of these that I have gotten out of their plastic casings, you almost feel like you're going to break as you get this guy out. I mean, none of them just seem to flow right out of this. I mean, it just doesn't happen. But Luke is really awesome. And for what you pay for these guys, I mean, you're getting a lot of detail with the ability to pose them, but it's a very minimalistic way of posing. You're not going to do anything like you would do a sideshow where you can get them fully posed in all kinds of crazy directions. All right, let's see what we got over there. But those are the Funko Pop. Oh, those are the Funko Pops that you have. I don't know what the pig patch is. I'm gonna have to go back and look that up. Can you elaborate? What's it from? Is it from the TV? Is it from a movie? Is it from a video game? What is that one from, Dylan? Candyman said, yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. And so anytime we come into a con or we're coming out of the con, they're always dropping really, really awesome pops. And that's kind of what's going on at this moment. I mean, before they dropped this Beetlejuice, I said that I wasn't going to own a Beetlejuice, but then they dropped this Beetlejuice, and it's a really well done Walmart exclusive. Make sure that you check that video out, though. Next Tuesday is when I believe that video is. But this is what I'm saying, right? When it comes to getting their hands on the guns, I mean, it almost felt like I had to break his fingers to get that hand in there, right? But once I like forcefully pushed it in there, it went on in there. So he's from Pizza Slim. I still don't know. I'm gonna have to look him up. I mean, I'm just gonna have to look him up, and I'll probably do that right now. I mean, I have my phone sitting right here. Let's see what we got. We have, what do we call him? Pig Patch. Pig. Oh, from Five Nights at Freddy's. Oh, I've got you, buddy. So Five Nights at Freddy's stuff is really cool. It's pretty awesome. It's not something that I ever really gotten into it, and this is what I'm going to say. I think it was because it was well after my generation that kind of stuff started coming out. That kind of stuff started coming out. It's super cool though. I enjoy the figures. I enjoy the artwork that goes into them. I haven't really ever like gotten into the Five Nights at Freddy's stuff. So Luke tends to have a little bit more movement than, well, maybe not. So his legs have a lot more movement than the Stormtrooper does, but his shoulders just don't have that movement. There's no coming out with the shoulders. His arms don't like twist in any real like good ways. I can't go like this way or that way. Well, I can. All right, but I just can't do that with his shoulders. So his shoulders are very limited in the directions in which you can take them. So I can't do a whole lot of poses with him. Let's see about his torso. So his torso has a lot of articulation, and it actually feels like it's a little better than maybe the Stormtrooper. I don't hear the clicking noises when I'm moving it nearly as much. His feet move just like the Stormtrooper, and they move in a couple of different ways. So they move up and down, then they move this way as well. Let's see if I can pose this guy any at all. And I'm just going to try and kind of put him in some of the same poses that I had the Stormtrooper in, and we'll see what he looks like. What other stuff do you collect, Dylan, other than the Five Nights at Freddy's? Anything else you collect a lot of? I don't. My man Candyman went quiet on me up there. You still with me, buddy? Luke doesn't. I think that he's going to be much harder to get into some positions than the Stormtrooper was. Like I said, he doesn't have the, and I don't know how to say it, like the torso joints, right? So he doesn't have the shoulder joints, he doesn't have the thigh joints, and he does a little, like there's a little bit you can do with him, but it's pretty limited on how you can twist and bend it. So I'm still going to give it a shot though and see if I can get him into a few different positions. Johnny Funko, hey, what's going on, brother? I just come on here real quick, pose some stuff up. Maybe some of you guys wanted to come on. Fat Frequency, how are you doing, bud? I'm on here just posing some stuff up. Thought some of you guys would like to come and hang out real quick. So, like I was saying, though, Luke just doesn't have the articulation that the Stormtrooper does, and he's probably going to be a little bit harder to get into positions. You'll have to let me know what you think about this Black Series stuff. I kind of like the Black Series stuff, but I wish that it had more articulation. I wish that I had the ability to put them into some poses that maybe some of your more higher end stuff that you can do. Because with some of your more higher end stuff, you can really get these guys posed and tuned in well. And when I say higher end, I'm saying like Sideshow. I mean, like your Sideshow 16th scales, you can really get those guys like tuned in, but they're also like $200-300. So I see you. Yeah, I mean, I don't really know how I feel about them, though. I like them. I really do. I just wish that I could get them into a few different poses. And the Jawa all but has one pose, and that's it. You're not getting him into any other pose. The Stormtrooper, I can get him into maybe 3 or 4 poses if I'm lucky. And like I was saying, this is probably my favorite pose, where he has that whole gun to the side pointing at you. I'm getting more Funko Pops soon. Dylan, so is that the only 2 Funko Pops you have? You would be super new to the collecting and the Funko Pops. Really, really difficult. Like I said, though, I'm going to try and get him posed in some kind of way and just see what that looks like. Maybe I'll just do a reverse of what I did to the Stormtrooper. Hey, and that actually looks like that'll work. So I will just do this reverse style pointing like I did with the Stormtrooper, but he's never going to point. Like I said, I wish that maybe they would give you some different hands. I mean, if they gave you some different hands to pose these guys in a little bit different way, that would be pretty awesome. But I guess for the price point that you're getting these at, you're just not going to get some different hands to pose them. All right, let's see. There he goes. Says yes, Fit. I was watching your new video. All right, so I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get him to stand like that though. So it's like the only downside I got to these guys. I really like them. Maybe they're just meant to be in the box. Maybe they're not meant to be taken out of the box, and that's kind of what I'm starting to gather with these guys. It is that for a novelist collecting the action figures like myself, this is probably a great action figure to get started with. As a collector, of them, probably not so much, or is somebody that's wanting to pose them. Not let don't let me say that as a collector. Is somebody who's wanting to pose these guys and have them out of the box, they're probably not the right ones for me. I mean, I'll probably eventually have to go to like a sideshow or something like that to get a little bit better quality of a pose and stuff like that. I mean, because at the end of the day, that's what I want to do with these guys. I just want to pose them, take pictures of them, use them as backdrops, put them on my Instagram, stuff like that. I mean, I don't have a whole lot of desire to leave them in the box and not do anything with them. So I'm just thinking that maybe they're not designed very well for that. So Dylan, how new are you to collecting Funkos? Is if you only have two, I would say that you're very new to collecting them. I think my buddy Fett left me. Let's see, and I don't think I'm going to be able to get him. There he goes. Like I said, some of these guys are just the ability to pose them. It's just not that easy. 79. How are you doing, bud? It's good to see you. So I haven't had any Funkos near me, so I have. Yeah, look, I totally understand that not having any Funkos near you. When you say that you have to order them, look, I understand that more than you will probably ever know. So when it comes to getting Funkos in my area, I normally have to drive 40 minutes to an hour to go pick them up. If I'm just going to go to a store and pick them up and just grab them right then. So when it comes to like the Hot Topic exclusives, the box lunch exclusives, the FYE, I almost never have them because I'm just simply not driving that far to get them, because it is a really long drive for me. So a lot of my pops that I end up with, they are all pre-orders. They are just pre-orders after pre-orders after pre-orders. I did, however, manage to get Luke in a position that I'm kind of happy with. I'm going to see if I can pose him into a few more positions, though. I'm going to see if I can get him into this more of a front-facing position, towards more of I want to say guarded, but not necessarily guarded, more like almost an arm cross. Probably 2 weeks. You are super new to the Funko community. Well, congratulations, bud. It is a really long rabbit hole, and there's lots of pops out there for you to collect. And I don't know if you're going to collect anything other than the ad icons and the Five Nights at Freddy's, but there is a whole lot of lines out there for you to start collecting. I'm going to say that to stay away from the secondary market as much as you can. I mean, I don't have an FYE or a Hot Topic. So are you, I'm not going to ask you, are you from another country, or are you from the United States? Because I know that there's some other countries that really have a hard time getting pops in general. I mean, it's because of license agreements and the whole like going overseas. We all know that. So I'm not going to be able to get him into a guarded position per se. I will be able to get him into a front-facing position, which kind of surprises me, to be honest. I'm going to see if I can like get him a little further down, maybe his head up a little bit more, see if I can get that pointed at the camera a little better. So I did manage to get him into this front-facing position, but they're still really, really hard to get into these positions. They're not easy by any means. Not by any means are they easy getting into these positions. This guy, like I said, though, he is all but unposable. So I'm going to just kind of move my Jawa here to the side for a second. I picked up the Jawa because I think if you're going to collect anything Star Wars related, Jawa he just feels right. I mean, there's something about having that Jawa that feels right. Well, Dylan, I'm sorry to hear that, bud, but I kind of have the same problem. I have to drive a little ways to get to mine, but I mean, they're not terribly far out of the way. I do also have a GameStop that's about 20 minutes up the road, but that's the closest thing I have to really finding pops in the wild versus just ordering them online. So I wound up ordering a bunch of my pops online, much like you do. I'm going to see if I can get him into one more pose, and then I'm going to quit posing him. I just recently picked up this new Deadpool comic. I've kind of been getting into comics lately. It's not something that I've been into for a really long time. This one was really, really hard to follow, so I'm not going to recommend this one at all to anyone when it comes to reading the comics. And maybe it was just me. Maybe you'll follow that comic just fine. I did not follow that comic just fine. That comic took me a while to get through, and then I really didn't enjoy the storyline as much as I have some of the other ones. Now, when it comes to the Deadpools, it seems like the Deadpool Duck has become my favorite Deadpool series so far. And when you're very new to the comic community, the best thing I'm going to say is to find somebody who knows a whole lot about them, like Chris or JB or Discovery Babe Comics. And there's lots of the comic, what is it, Comic Book Poser. So there's lots and lots of good people out there that know a lot more about comics. If you're very new to them, like I am, you can ask them, and they'll lead you in the right direction when it comes to a lot of these stuff. I'm just posing Luke. You're just not going to get a whole lot of poses out of him. I mean, it's just simply not going to happen, just because of the way that they made him, and the articulation on him is not that great. They don't stand that well. I really wish these guys would have come with a stand. There's a lot of action figures out there that come with stands, and I know that you can buy some of them on the secondary market. So just to be totally honest, I will probably go looking for some stands for these guys on Amazon here in just a little bit. I want the Taz as Flash. Oh, well, as soon as you said FYE exclusive, I knew that was out for me. And that happens to me all the time. So I totally understand your frustration there. I'm just going to say you can order them online, just like you can go to the store and pick up their exclusives. You can also order their exclusive off their website. The only thing is you got to be quick to getting their exclusives off their website, because there's a lot of people that are having the same problems that we have that go online and they get them that way. So you can do that. You're just going to have to be super, super, super quick at it. I don't really know how I feel about these poses. I don't like the way Luke is posed. I wish that I could get him into some different poses, but it's just never going to happen. I mean, it just simply never going to happen. I'm not going to be able to get him into the poses that I would like to see him in, and that's really a shame, to be honest with you. I can't get some of the view out of him that I would like to get. And really a lot of it has to do with his shoulder right here not having any articulation to it. If that shoulder had just a little bit more articulation, this guy would move in some really, really cool ways. Let me take a look at that. Okay, so that's not terrible, right? He's got his knees bent, his hand kind of is out like he's gonna shoot you. Let's see if we get his face in the right direction. Feet. Okay, so there we go. So that's not 100% terrible, but it's not. It's not a sideshow. And at some point, I'll get some sideshows so that I can make some better poses out of these guys and get them in there in a better way. But it's just simply not happening right now. That Deadpool that I was just talking about, though, that Deadpool is super hard to follow. The storyline in it got kind of confusing very fast. It kind of jumped all over the place when it came to the storyline. So I wouldn't recommend going out and buying the new Deadpool comic. It simply wasn't for me. Let's see. No. All right. I'm going to see if I can get the Stormtrooper maybe in some different positions real quick. Like I said, I know that there was one that I had him in that I'm going to see if I can get him in again. And I want to say that I actually had the other. I did. I had the other. So he comes with two guns. This is not his only gun that he comes with. And I want to say that I had the other gun when I was posing him a little different. But it was not this one. So what does everybody think about the lottery that'll be taking place tomorrow? The Funko lottery. That's going to be an interesting one to see which one of us get hit the lottery and which one of us do not get the lottery. I don't have my fingers crossed for the lottery, just to be totally honest, because there is so many people out there that are going to be like good. There's so many of us that collect Funkos. There's a whole lot of people that are going to be getting lotteries. So there's a whole lot of us that are not. It says my FYE doesn't have Looney Tune pop shit, but I was just there. I guess I didn't. Did the Looney Tunes pops comes out? Which Looney Tunes are you talking about? I like the Looney Tunes too. Yet the Looney Tunes are really awesome, but I have the same problem that you have, Dylan. My FYE is just kind of far from me, so I'm not going to be making it to FYE anytime soon to pick those up. Hey, what's going on, guys? I appreciate everybody that stopped by just to hang out for a little bit, get these guys posed up. So it is tomorrow or Saturday. Which Looney Tunes pops is it though? Is it? You'll have to tell me. I really haven't looked at any of the news here lately, so I don't know. It goes back to that what I was saying a little earlier. Anytime it comes, the superhero ones, okay. So anytime it comes like close to a con, Funko starts really releasing these really awesome pops, and it's just something they do. And the reason they do that is because it draws you in, right? It draws you into buying these really awesome pops right before the con hits because they know that when the con hits, you're going to spend a lot of money on the cons. So if you're like me, the ones that are coming out right now, you are carefully picking and choosing so that you still have a little money left over to spend on the con pops. And it's something that they do, something they're good at. They've always been good at it. Right before and right after the con is when you're going to see these really awesome pops. So right now they're coming out with a really lot of awesome pops, and one of them is the Beetlejuice exclusive that they have at Walmart. That Beetlejuice exclusive to me is the best Beetlejuice I think they've made so far. Now look, that's just my personal opinion. That doesn't have to be your opinion, but right now that Beetlejuice is the best one, I think, in my opinion. This Stormtrooper, the Stormtrooper also has that same problem. When it comes to moving his arms, I wish the arms just moved better. I wish that you could get him into poses easier, right? And because of that, it makes it kind of hard for you to want to make any real poses with him with his hands together because it is so hard to get those hands to want to come together. And I can't seem to find a way to force them. I mean, I guess that was my next thought, is that maybe I could just force the hands together. But when I'm forcing them, it starts to feel like you're going to break them. So I might have got him in one. Let's see. No, that's just not going to look right. No matter how I think about that. I mean, it looks pretty awkward, right? I mean, that's just not going to go. That's just not going to go. So how did you know I am kind of near New York? So Dylan, you were sharing with me a second ago that you were having a hard time getting some of the exclusives because they just weren't in your area. I kind of have that same problem. That's about the same for me. It's about a 45-minute hour drive before I can get there. It's like I still haven't found the new dog, so I don't know. You have to elaborate back to. I didn't. Like I said, I haven't really been watching a whole lot of the pops right now, and the stuff that it came out. I didn't even know that there was a T-shirt. You're gonna make me look that up now. I didn't even know that there was a T-shirt combo right now with Doc and Einstein. It is the dog's name. It is Einstein. So it's still a really awkward pose. The hands don't look right. That's just not going to work. No matter how I think about it, that's just not going to work. So what I'll do is I'll put his hand there, and then maybe I'll try and turn his body the other way. Let's see. So I kind of did this like different kind of pose with him on Instagram that I thought was kind of cool. It was almost like this looking around the corner style of pose. Candyman, I don't really like getting my pops on I don't really like getting my pops online, and I have to get a lot of my pops online, but so I only order from one company for the most part, just because a lot of times when I order from Amazon and other companies, my stuff comes in a wreck. It never ever comes in looking like it should. So there's only one real company that I order from online. Who do you order from online, and does it come to you okay? I mean, when you get the stuff, is it okay? Is it wrecked? Or did they pack it well? That's all good stuff for us to know. Marty on the hoverboard T-shirt. Oh, I didn't know about that one either. Doc and Einstein. I'm going to have to look those up real quick and see what they look like. I would imagine they're pretty hot. Now, I just recently picked up a whole lot of the Back to the Future pops. I picked up the whole last wave that they came out with. Yeah, Walmart wrecks my pops. I actually did a video on one of them that came from Walmart that looked like somebody had played football with it. Now, I don't order mine on Amazon because when they come from Amazon, they look like they come in wrecked. Oh, about to sneeze. Yeah, bless me. So what Amazon is really bad at coming in with my stuff. Now here recently, I ordered one from Amazon that was not that bad. Let me see. Pop tea combo. All right, let's see what they got. Oh, okay. So that Marty McFly with the skateboard. So it's hoverboard, skateboard. I think's what they're calling it right here. We all know that it's a hoverboard. Okay, that one's pretty hot, and the T-shirt looks really good. Now let's see what that Doc looks like. So it's Doc and Einstein, but I don't see him with the T-shirt combo. Let's see. So I see the Marty with the T-shirt combo. I don't see Doc and Einstein, and I don't know if you were saying that they had a T-shirt combo or exactly what you're saying there, but I don't see him with the T-shirt combo. Candyman says, "Oh no, I agree with you. I like my pops to come in very mint, and that's kind of like the reason that I only order from one real company online is because it seems like a lot of companies really mess up my pops when they come in. I have not tried I want to see if I can say this, but I might slaughter it. It's a spastic collectibles. So I have looked at a lot of their stuff. I haven't really went online to order any of it yet. My Energizer Bunny came in perfect. I want to say, Dylan, you were talking about Amazon. Yeah, no, look, everybody that I've ever talked to doesn't have the same problem that I have when it comes to getting stuff from Amazon. So it just must be the distribution center that's right here close to me. That it just every time my pops come in, they don't put them in any kind of protector. They just throw them in a box. Then they get rattled, and it's not a little box neither. It's normally a fairly decent sized box that they throw this guy in, and he gets shaken up and rattled around and tossed, and sometimes it looks like they might have played soccer with the box before it made it to me. I mean, they just never ever come from Amazon looking that great. But I did get one here recently that I did a video on not too long ago, and that was Chewbacca. Chewbacca actually looked really good when he got to me. Now he did have a corner, I think, that was pressed in just a little, but nothing that I would get real excited about. I mean, nothing that would truly bother me. But I also don't ever plan on reselling mine, so it's not something that I ever really gotten into, the whole like secondary market and selling them. So if mine have a little bit of damage to the box, when I say little, I mean very little, like maybe a scratch on the plastic, maybe just a bent corner a little. I don't get super excited about it. It's when the box is just destroyed and it's no longer an in the box collection. That's when it tends to upset me a little bit. Let's see. Knox Pops. Old ones. I don't have any of the older Back to the Future Pops. I just recently picked up this wave that came out. I grabbed every one of them. Luckily enough, when I went to Walmart, they had every one of them sitting on the shelf together. It almost looked like they got two complete sets at one time, and they set these guys on the shelf. And I just managed to grab a whole set at one time. And I can't even honestly believe that I grabbed a whole set at one time, but I managed to grab the whole set at one time. That Marty T-shirt combo looks really awesome, but I kind of feel like they might have made too many Martys when they ran this ran. There's so many other characters that they could have done that I felt like they should have done that they didn't do. And there was even variances to the characters that I wish I would have seen. Like they didn't do Marty's dad, they didn't do Marty's mom, they didn't do Marty's girlfriend. They could have done Marty's truck. They could have done it wasn't Einstein. There was actually two dogs in Back to the Future and the three of them. And I want to say that you see the second dog in the third one, or hey, almost second or third one, you see the second dog. So there was lots of opportunities for them to have made a lot more like Back to the Future pops than they made. Now I'm glad that they made a Biff, don't get me wrong, and I really like that the two docs that they did make, but I just wish that they would have done some other characters. And I mean, there was just so many different Biffs. There was Spike, there was, I want to say one of them's name was Blade. There was so many different characters that they could have done that I was just confused on. They could have done Marty's dad at school. They could have done Marty's son that you see in either I think the third one is when you see Marty's son. There were so many different variances to Back to the Future that I wish I would have seen that they didn't come out with. So I was a little disappointed that they've come out with so many Martys and no one else. But maybe there's a license agreement there somewhere that I just don't get it. I just don't know. There were options if they were protected or not protected. I did not know that. So I'm going to have to look from now on when I order my stuff. And I'll even check out Amazon again to see if maybe there's options on there that I have missed. I mean, because I had zero clue that there was an option to put them in a protector or without a protector. It says my Target got the cartoon. Yeah, I don't think I've seen those either. So I really don't collect a whole lot of action figures. I have a lot of action figures from when I was a kid that really aren't action figures to me. They were, well, I guess you would call them action figures, but they weren't the same as they are today. When they made them back then, they didn't make them to put in poses. They didn't make them to do stuff like this with. I mean, they just didn't make them for that. So it's the action figures that they're coming out with today are a little bit different than the action figures that when I was a kid. Now, that doesn't mean that you couldn't have done it. It was just a lot less done than what you see today. I mean, today people are really into posing these things. And to be totally honest, I'm one of those people that are really into posing these things. And if you'll go check out my Instagram, you'll see that I got like this guy in a few different poses. And if you didn't catch it earlier, this is one of my favorite poses. The whole like kind of pointing at you with his gun sitting down to the side, kind of like he's not trying to shoot you, but he's trying to get your attention. Now, see, that's what I'm saying right there, right? So you come up with one that I didn't even think about that they could have easily done. So they could have done like the whole Doc in the Wild West on the train. They could have done Doc's girlfriend in the Wild West. They could have done the whole like the guy that was going to kill him in the Wild West that they had a gun shootout with at some point. There's so many opportunities in Back to the Future that I just feel like they missed, that they should have, that not should have, but they could have capitalized on it. And so I guess I'm disappointed in how many Martys we've seen out of the Back to the Future line versus how many variances of other characters they could have made. And so I think on that last run, they only did 2 Docs. They could have easily done 3 Docs with the train. They could have done 4 Docs if they would have done just him in this Wild Wild West pose. There's so many like things that they could have done that they missed that, look, I'm not saying that we won't see, because it's most likely, we know Funko, right? They love to run their licenses into the ground. So I'm sure that if they have a license on the other characters in Back to the Future, we will see them eventually, but we haven't seen them right now. And maybe the problem is license agreements. I mean, because that happens all the time. All the time we see that they have problems with license agreements, so we don't necessarily see them come out, right? So it's not too uncommon to see that happen. But I'd like to see more Back to the Futures. Any pops you guys would like to see them to come out with here in the future, even if you just want to talk about it real quick, because look, this live was really random. I came on here just to hang out, kind of chat with you guys. I was going to let y'all ask some questions, talk about some pops, get these guys posed, see what you think about this Black Series stuff. I like the Black Series stuff just for the cost of it. So when it, oh, I didn't even realize. Okay, so I have him with his gun up here. So I might try and repose him a little differently now. I didn't even know that I had his gun up here. So I kind of wish that the Black Series guys would pose a little better than they are. But for the price point of them, I think I understand why they don't. I think I'm just going to leave that alone for now. I think I understand why they don't. Let's see. Animal Crossing Funko Pops. Okay, so I think Animal Crossing is what it's almost like, what, I think I don't really know. I think I know what it's kind of like where you're crossing the road, right? And trying not to get run over by stuff. Oh, that's pretty awesome. That is really, really awesome. So the one thing that the Jawa does come with is this different style gun that kind of hangs off of him, but it kind of goes to what I was saying earlier is that a lot of this stuff is super hard to pose when it comes to the Jawa. For some reason, he doesn't pose that well. I like the fact that they put this material over the top of him to give him this whole like so that he doesn't look so much like an action figure that has articulated joints in it. So I appreciate the fact that they did do that, but I wish that they would have just taken a little bit more time in making these guys pose better, or maybe just holding this stuff better, because even the way they hold this stuff, it's just not that great. Or, maybe they could have put some extra hands with them, anything like that. What do you think about the pops that are coming out into New York Con? Is anybody picking up any in particular? Is there any in particular that you're going to be picking up, or are we all kind of like there? I wasn't really impressed with the New York Con pops that they're coming out with this time. I wish that they would have came out with a few different ones. To me, it kind of felt like it was rushed and thrown together. They didn't necessarily take any time or really talk to people about what they were coming out with. The Kool-Aid Man. So they have a Kool-Aid Man. They have the 10-inch Kool-Aid Man, and they have the regular Kool-Aid Man. I don't have the 10-inch, but I do have just the regular 3.5-inch pop. So there's some really cool Kool-Aid. I want to say that maybe there's three. But I know for a fact that there's two. So there's one 10-inch, and then there's one regular pop. So the Kool-Aid Mans are really awesome. You want Ben from the New York Con? I'm about to pull those up real quick on my phone and just kind of look at them. So there's some really awesome pops, and I might not even do that. I might do it like this here. We'll just kind of share my screen real quick. Let me create a new one here. So let's see. This is just going to be the easiest way to do this. Let's go down to their blog, which used to be a really interesting place to get all of your news from. You could come over here to this and look at their news and all of that good stuff all at one time. You really can't do that anymore. I don't know why they decided that they were going to change that, but they did. Well, I mean, that's all right. So I'm going to do that even differently because that didn't work out that great. So why they decided to start using Instagram for everything, I don't really know. To me, it just seems kind of weird to use Instagram to basically for everything. Look, I'm sure that there's a reason why they do it, but it just seems really weird most of the time. So let's go to their page. All right. Yeah, they don't even have them all up there, so that's not going to work. Let's see if I can pull them up. Let's see, New York Con. Let's see. This is probably I'll use a secondary site to pull these guys up because for some reason that was just being really difficult. So there is a lot of pops that I want to see that I think are going to be really awesome. So let's see. Let me come back over here real quick. Let's screen share this one. Yeah, this right here is where stuff starts getting complicated, guys. When you start trying to like screen share and all that craziness, then it starts to get complicated. So here we go. Let's make that a little bigger. So let's go here. There we go. Check that out. So there is some really awesome pops in that, to be totally honest. I mean, and there's the rat that they're coming out with is one of them that I kind of would like to get my hands on. Hey, Toy Box, how are you doing, bud? Hey, so I just kind of jumped on here real quick to go live, just kind of hang out and chat with everybody. I didn't have any real like rhyme or reason as to why I was doing it. I just kind of wanted to get on here, hang out, chat for a little bit, BS. Y'all know how that goes, right? So let's see. I'm going to go back over here real quick. I don't know if it's going to be very interesting to see how many people win the lottery when they do this, because I just don't think that there's going to be a whole lot of lottery tickets given out on the first wave. Now, I don't necessarily know that, right? I mean, for all I know, there's going to be a retarded amount of people that all hit the lottery, and that's going to be that, right? But I just don't know if that's going to be the case. I mean, it to me, I don't think that's going to be the case, but we will just have to wait and see. And I'm trying to see if I can find like some better pictures for us to look at when it comes to the New York Con and some of the reveals. Now, I just don't see any. I wish that I could find a better picture of all of them together. So let's see if this one's a little better. No, and that would have been last year's, right? Yeah, that would have definitely been last year's. So I'm going to go back to that site. I mean, at least we could see them on that, right? So here we go. Maybe I can get the picture to pull up a little bigger. And there we are right here. So try and see. Well, there we go. So this rat that they have right here, I want that rat, and I know that sounds crazy, but I'm not a huge fan of the whole like pigeon. Yeah, I said that right. I'm not a huge fan of the pigeon and what it looks like, but I really do like that rat. For some reason, it's something about the New York and the rat. It just speaks to me, right? I mean, that one just speaks to me. This dum dum, I'm not super excited about that dum dum. I don't care if I get it, if I don't get it. It to me, it was a pretty like it's a pretty boring ad icon, and I wish they would have come out with a slightly better ad icon than they did. But hey, that's what they came out with. That's what we have. That's what we're gonna live with. But I think that they could have come out with a better ad icon. Tell me what you think. Are you gonna pick that one up? Is that one of them that you have to see, or do you feel the same way I do? Is that one of them that you just, if you get it, you get it. If you don't, you don't. Now, this is another one, right? That. I'm back. So you said lottery drawing. Yes, the lottery drawing is tomorrow. Now, I don't know what time tomorrow. They just said that you're going to get an email. So as long as you're a part of their Funko Club, their fan club, I guess just look out for the email. If you don't get an email, then I guess that means that you weren't part of the lottery. And then things are going to get a little complicated, right? Because I didn't see them put another option, right? So I guess you're going to have to go to the stores at that point and see if you can grab them from GameStop and Hot Topic. And I mean, we all know the Hot Topic debacle. Every con, they give way too many out to too many people at one time, and every time it's a big debacle. And that's the way it's always going to be. So that's just the way that you have to get used to it, right? They couldn't get rid of the pigeon. I know they couldn't get rid of the pigeon, but to me, the pigeon just doesn't sing like Khan to me. Now the Star Wars ones is another one. Look, I'm a huge Star Wars fan, but they could have kind of done something else there, and that also kind of stands true with the child as well, right? I'm not a super fan of what they have going on with this child. I wish that they would have done something a little better than what they did. The child to me is just, look, I have 3 or 4 of him right now that are all in the same pose, they're in the same stance, and every one of them just has something a little different, right? Just something a little different. And to me, that's kind of annoying, kind of slightly annoying. Now, the Pinocchio here is pretty hot, right? I really want to see the Pinocchio. Don't quote me on it, but I thought that they said October 2nd, not October 3rd. So I thought that they said that when it came down to it, that they were going to be announcing on October the 2nd the lottery. And I don't know if they were announcing the first and second lottery, or if they were just announcing the first. Maybe they were going to do one on the second and one on the third, because I know that there's going to be 2 chances to get into the lottery, right? And one's just after the other. That's the only difference. Pinocchio, hey, Jiminy Cricket is a really awesome pop to me. But that brings back childhood memories of me as a kid when this movie came out and we were watching it, and Pinocchio, and if you tell a lie, your nose is going to get longer. Hey, I think at some point some of us even believed that was a reality, right? I mean, that if you told a lie, that your nose was going to grow, and that everybody would know that you were lying based upon how your nose was growing, right? I mean, so that one to me is a really, really, really strong con pop, and I think that one's going to sell out really fast. I think it's going to be hard to get your hands on. Stitch, on the other hand, I mean, I think he's going to be a strong pop. It's just not one that I would be going out after. Now, these pops right here, when it comes to the Simpsons, it seems like the New York Con always has some kind of Simpson related pops. So I wasn't super surprised to see these two. Now I think that they're both really cool pops. I don't know if they should have been con pops, but they are really cool. Jiminy Cricket is neat. Yeah, I mean, he is a really neat one. I'm going to try and pick him up. I think that one's going to be super tough. I mean, that one's in my predictions as to some of them that are going to be really hard to pick up. Now, Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy. Hey, this one right here just sings to me memories that I don't think that a lot of pops sing, right? But when my kid was this wee little thing, she used to watch cartoons, and one of her favorite shows was SpongeBob. And I used to sit down and watch these with her, right? And so we would spend hours through the day watching SpongeBob SquarePants, and we watched so much SpongeBob SquarePants that at some point we had seen every one of them that was made. Now that's not the case anymore. Now they've continued to come out with them. She's 17 going on 18 years old. I mean, that's how long ago that's been. And to be totally honest, it some days feels like it was yesterday. And I know that it wasn't, but some days, I mean, I God's to honest, just feels like it was yesterday. Let's see. So I got the snake if I win a lottery. hey, I got you. And look, I hope that I win the lottery. I don't think that I am. Like I said earlier, I think that there's so many of us out there that collect this stuff and that are part of the fan club. And I've heard of already some like debacles going on where people have made 600, 700, 800 accounts, all to like try and guarantee them to get a slot in the lottery. And hey, look, that's too many accounts for me. I'm not sitting down and making 600 accounts in the hopes that one of these accounts will get a hit. I mean, because that's insanity to have to go through 600 emails to see 600 accounts with however many emails these accounts get, hoping that you get some kind of insanity. And there's all kinds of like people out there. Insanity. That's another topic for another day. Toy box, I totally agree with you. This McDonald's pop is garbage. I haven't met anybody yet that knows who he's from, where he's from, when he came out. So something tells me that he's much older than all of us and that none of us really know a whole lot about him. But these McDonald pops have hit really well for some reason. And I think it has a lot to do, hear me out. I think it has a lot to do with them and their, they used to get the Happy Meals that had the toys in them, and everybody kind of held on to those toys. And I know everybody remembers them. You had the grapes. I heard it from the grapevine. People collected extraordinary amounts of those stuff. And so I think that that's why the McDonald's pops are hitting so hard right now, is because it does come to us, the older generation who remembers like these McDonald's like Happy Meals where you could get just the collectibles that came with them, and they really weren't collectibles. They were this little like chintzy plastic thing that came in there that we collected, and they didn't. So they should have wait. I don't know that I absolutely I don't know what I'm following you there on the Pokemon pops. I don't collect Pokemon pops. I just kind of skip over them. I haven't played Fortnite in so long that I know this is a loot llama. I don't necessarily like know what this is a loot llama for. I'm sure that this is supposed to be a skin that they've come out with because they are the king at coming out with new skins and making you pay $10 for that virtual skin. This one I'm not super impressed with. I think that this could have easily been on the shelf somewhere and not in a con. And that's kind of been my rant with this con, is that I feel like some of the pops that they put in this con shouldn't have been in this con, but they needed them to sell out so that they put them in there. I think that some of them they're coming out with right now as exclusives really should have been in the con, but they are not. Let's see. So I'm sure that he's going to be bigger, just like the last one they come out with. I don't really know anything about the Umbrella Academy, so I'm kind of steered from this one. This one is a super awesome Miles Morales, but this check this out because this is something that I just learned today. On this pop right here, they have that you can go over to GameStop right now and pre-order the Daredevil just in this scene. So if you look at this pop and behind him, they have 6 others that are black that they're not showing you what they are. Well, one of those is going to be Daredevil, and you can go pre-order him right now over at GameStop, and I think they have him for like $25. So that tells me that this one's going to be $25, and maybe it's going to be a little bit more because it's a con pop. I don't necessarily know if that's the case or not, but I know that they have Daredevil over there for pre-order today for it's $24.99, or you might as well say 25, right? I mean, if you're going to say $24.99, you might as well go with the 25. I'm not. I think y'all all know this too. I'm not a huge like Venomized collector, and this one is kind of confusing to me when it comes to the Venomized collection because it looks like Mysterio to not did I say Mysterio? Not Mysterio. It looks like Magneto to me, but then it has like this crazy face going on right here that I don't really understand. This one right here, and I said this when me and Chris were live. This one right here reminded me of Daredevil, not Daredevil, Deadpool. When I looked at this one, I said to myself, Deadpool, when I first seen it, and I said, well, why are they coming out with another Deadpool? And it took me a minute of looking at it to realize that that wasn't another Deadpool. I'm not going to go after this one. Just I've said that I'm not going to go after them. And if I see him in the wild, if I go to a store and he's there, I'm definitely going to pick it up to add to my zombie collection. But I'm not going out of my way to pick these guys up by any shape, way, means. So who the Goblin? The Goblin's kind of weird to me. Snake. Hey, so let me go back to this comment. Snake. Knox, what do you think about the Snake? I think that they could have probably held him off and done him in anything they could have done with him. It would have done okay. I don't think it would have done great. I think that you pre-ordered the Daredevil. Can you pre-order them already? I think I've seen something about that. The pre-orders are really expensive, though, right? I understand why they put Snake in there. They put him in there because it's a New York con, right? And so it's Escape from New York. I get that. I understand what the thought behind that is. I just don't. I don't know that it's a con pop, right? I mean, I just don't know. And they put it in a con, so it has to be a con pop. But I think that maybe they could have put him in a different pose. Maybe they could have did a different scene out of the movie. Maybe there was something a little different they could have done with him to just make him stand out a little bit more than they did. The Daredevil one. So collector, the collectible collector. I hope I said that right. Can you pre-order the con pops already? I know that there was some controversy about people that were already pre-ordering the pops, and from some sites that were charging a lot of money to pre-order these pops, and they were kind of saying that they were going to get them, but there's no real guarantee in my mind. Now, I don't know that to be 100% sure. Funko might actually work out deals with these companies that we're assuming have bots. We don't know, right? I have not pre-ordered the Ninja Turtle pops yet. I keep saying that I'm going to, and then I stop. So it's one of them that I keep going. All right, I'm gonna pre-order them. I'm gonna pre-order them. I'm gonna pre-order them, and then I stop. And let me explain it to you why I'm stopping. I have so much stuff right now on pre-order from different places that they kind of just come out of my account randomly right now. So I've kind of stopped pre-ordering anything at the moment, and I'm just going to kind of let my pre-orders that I have out there finish charging me, finish getting to me, and once that happens, then I'll go back to pre-ordering them. So if they have them at that moment, I will probably pre-order them then, but that won't be until December. So excuse me, that won't be until December, so we will just have to wait and see. Oh, like I said, I get it. He's from New York, so I understand why they were making him, but I just think that they could have done something a little different. Smash that thumbs up. That's right, guys. Smash that thumbs up real quick. Hey, I appreciate it, Candyman. Hey, like I said, I kind of came on here at a whim just to kind of see, just hang out with you guys, get these guys posed up a little bit, chat with y'all a little bit, and we kind of just had like, hey, we kind of fell down the rabbit hole of going into the con stuff, right? So, hey, look, having a lot of fun, and I'm going to keep going through these. So let's see. Oh man, I'm sorry to hear that, Toy Box. Have a good day though, and be safe at work, man. I don't know what you do, but be safe at doing whatever it is you're doing, right? So this Joker pop is a really, 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 really awesome pop. Now, I'm not just saying that he's an awesome pop because he's part of the Breast Cancer Awareness Month. I'm saying he's an awesome pop because the whole old school manner that they did his head sculpt in, right? And I think that I've actually seen this on another Joker, and I can't really put my finger on which one it is, but I'm pretty sure that they already have a Joker out there that has that head sculpt, and all they did was change the color of his body. I want this one, but I also have all the other 4 breast cancer awareness pops already, so that's one of them that I just really want to have. The Wonder Woman pop, to me, it's a really cool pop. That's probably definitely a con pop, not something that I'm into. I'm not really into the Nightwing neither. It's I'm gonna stop there for like 2 seconds though. Anytime they make a Dwight from the Office Space, for some reason, people go crazy, and I just don't know that I really understand why. Office Space is a cool series, cool show. Don't start giving me hate mail over there already. Really, really awesome. I enjoy watching it when I just want to kill brain cells and nothing else to do. It's pretty awesome to sit back and watch. I don't know that I would buy him in every variance and every time because it seems like they come out with him every month and they sell out every month. So it's not one of them that I'm going to go after, but I know that there's a lot of people that are going to. I know that that one's going to spike in value just going off of the past. They always do. They probably always will. So just started collecting 2 of the Office, pre-ordered Ninja Turtles. Ninja Turtles are really cool, and I really should pre-order the Ninja Turtles at some point. I know that I'm going to. Like I said, though, I have a lot of pre-orders out there right now, and it just makes it difficult to want to like add to that pre-order list. I don't know who these guys are from Huckleberry Hound, but I kind of want them just because it's 2 mice. I mean, I don't who doesn't want 2 mice. I don't think this should have been a con pop at all. Probably should take a sip of water or something. I don't know that should have been a con pop at all. To me, it just doesn't scream con pop. This Beetlejuice is pretty awesome, and with the glow variants, to me, that is really going to set him different. Hey, take care of Knox Pops. I appreciate everyone who stopped by, guys. So, look, I appreciate every one of you for taking your time to sit here and chat with me and just hang out and just be cool. So, hey, if you have something to do that's super, super, super okay, I really appreciate you stopping by. This Beetlejuice, to me, it says con pop only because it's a glow pop. The exclusive that they just came out with in Walmart that I just picked up a few days ago is a really nice pop, and that probably should have been the one that they put in the con. But like I said, they tend to put out some really awesome pops right before the con to the con to keep you buying them, right? So they got to keep you buying them before the Comic-Con hits, so that they come out with really awesome pops, right? To make sure they keep you like drawn in. So because they already know that you're going to be hesitant because you know, and I know that you're going to spend a lot of money on the con pops. We collect. Hey, so that's really awesome that you and your dad are collecting them together. I think anytime that you can do something with your dad or with a sibling that helps y'all bond is a really awesome thing, and you should definitely do it. You should if you can have a shared interest with your father or your mother, whether it be cooking or pops or anything, as long as it is a healthy relationship, is definitely something you should get into. Geeks are us. How are you doing, buddy? It's good to see you in here today. And like I said, guys, look, this was something that I just came on really quickly to do. We really appreciate your time. I appreciate the fact that y'all are sitting down, hanging out with me. Make sure you keep those comments coming. Look, I'm not here to just hang out with myself. I'm here to hang out with you guys. This GI Joe to me screams my childhood. I mean, it screams to me my childhood, and it says I want it. Now, I think that these pops are going to sell out really fast. I think that this is going to be the first time that we've seen GI Joes. Now, I don't quote me on that because I haven't really done any research on it right offhand. I would kind of have to sit back and do some research to make sure that that's the case. But I think that this is the first line of GI Joes, and if this is the first line of GI Joes, they're going to sell out fast. They're going to go up in a hurry. So if you don't get your hands on it at first, wait 3 or 4 months before you start looking on the secondary market for this guy, because you give it 3 or 4 months, the prices start to come back down to where they should be versus what people want from them the day of, right? Which is kind of insane. I normally collect the Masters of the Universe on a pretty like heavy side, but there's nothing about these three that scream I have to have them. The same thing goes with the sodas. Now, I have been collecting the sodas almost since day one. Since the day that they came out with these guys, I have been collecting them, but I don't really see anything here. There's a few of the sodas that I have to have, but nothing that says con to me. I think that they could have done a better job. Now, My Hero Academia, everybody knows I have a soft spot for My Hero Academia. I really like them. I don't really know who this character is, though, so I need to go back and watch some more. I'm sure that they play a significant role in My Hero Academia, just not one that I've seen. Oh, yeah, no, hey, look, I understand it, and I I kind of just they come out, hey, but buddy, how you doing, bearded barbarian in the room? So they kind of just kept coming out with the Masters of the Universe so much that they start coming out with characters that you have no idea what they are. Now this Naruto, I have no clue what anime that is. I'm sure it's a really awesome anime. I really like the effort and the work that they put into the anime pops. And if you look at her sleeve right there, the one that you can see pointed at you, that is a smiley face that they incorporated on the inside of that, and that right there is pretty awesome. I'm gonna quickly like go through the rest of these because I've got to get out of here and go coach swim. So this guy I don't know a whole lot about. I think he's super cool. The t-shirt combo I think is weak. I do want this soda right here though, the Funko Freddy soda. I really want to get my hands on. Hey, really quickly, guys, I just want to say thank you for stopping by, joining me. Go check out my Patreon for the Patreon only monthly giveaways if that's something that you're into. Don't forget, subscribe to the channel, turn on those notifications, and become part of the Wayne Co. crew, guys. There is no Wayne Co. crew without you, and I truly appreciate you watching, guys. Until next time, have a good one.